How's everyone doing this fine Thursday? I have a Hestia here. I don't know if you guys have actually officially met my baby girl yet, but this is my entire reason to breathe in this world. And she has been a great help to me. I don't know how you guys have been feeling, but my personal collective has been going through a lot of triggers right now. Triggers of old habits, triggers of old vices, triggers of old traumas. And these things are coming to the surface because energetically we are winding down to the very last part of the Earth's year. Now, everyone has a different new year based on what you follow, from Chinese to calendar to yada yada yada. But when you're speaking energy, when you're speaking of the Earth, the new year is in spring. And tonight we have a full moon in Virgo, but it is also an eclipse. And so this eclipse energy is likely bringing up a lot of that stuff that we haven't processed, a lot of that trauma, a lot of that hurt, a lot of that stuff that you're just like, we're going to think about that later. I'm going to let you focus on my baby because she's sweet and we're talking about traumas. And it could be a very difficult time for things like sobriety. I personally am 2 years sober from alcohol, going on 3. I have a lot harder time moving away from Delta products and things like that because I lived in Illinois and marijuana was legal there. And I have a hard time moving away from those. Okay, bye, darling. So I have actually been in a pretty low vibe energy and not been able to channel, not been able to be in that super, super high vibe because I have been so triggered and spiraling and leaning very heavily into my escapism. I mean, look at my fucking bed. I sleep in an enchanted wonderland of a forest princess. Of course I use escapism. And there is nothing wrong with that. Like, every one of our vices can be healthy if we use them in balance, if we use them in moderation and control. That doesn't often happen, especially when we are in a spiral of negative energies. So, how do we get ourselves out of that? Well, us witches know that you cast a spell, or you set your intentions, or you can do so many various different things. But what I wanted to come on and tell you guys about today was this very simple spell ritual that my mom and I were talking about doing. And where's my book? I'm going to grab it. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is journaling. You guys remember my van talk the other week where I talked about my chaos journaling. And I've got a brand new fresh page, and I haven't journaled very much in the past few days because, again, escapism. I'm running from all the thoughts. But now I need to do the dump. And this dump is going to help me go through and pick through the muck and find what exactly is it that I need to release. Because I could just write out on a paper, I want to release what upsets me. I want to release what triggers me. I want to release yada, yada, yada. And have it be very superficial. But in my personal experience, the more direct you are in naming the cause, naming the trigger, you will be more effective in the release and results of it. So I would write things like, I want to release my trigger of instantaneously going to something to eat when I have nothing else to do. I want to release my trigger of the void of silence and constantly needing a distraction or something playing, because just being in silence is like, sometimes. Sometimes it's exactly what I need. But after I do that brain dump and I discern what it is exactly that I want to out of me, I'm going to get a separate notebook. This is just my little quick jot down notebook thing for when I'm working on something. And in this, get to a clean page. I am going to actually write out the spell. I'm going to write out what it is I want to release. Now, looking at the moon phase, it being a full moon, typically that is when you attract energy. That is when you bring in what you want to build. But this eclipse throws an interesting wrench into it. And it being Virgo, I'm just realizing, is why this subconscious stuff is brought up. Thank you, Spirit. My eye just started like having pressure. And like I remember Virgo deals so much with the subconscious and the unconscious. I'm actually a Virgo moon. So this is going to be an interesting one for me. But Virgo is the first of the zodiac to be represented by a person because they have gone through enough of the wheel to be actualized into a self. They have that much development, which means they also have ego and trauma. And this is what we start to hide from. This is what we start to run from. That's why we go from Virgo into Libra, that of balance and harmony. Now that you have all of this, you have to disperse it so that you don't capsize. And a lot of us are drowning right now because we have not been taught to disperse what hurts us. We're not been taught to give it attention and give it space so that it doesn't fall out of the closet. Like, you can't just shove everything into the closet because eventually you're going to need to go in there for something. And you're not going to be able to find it because there's so much of everything. So, like, yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's irritating. Yes, it's hard to go through all of that. But, my love, it is coming to the surface right now because it needs to come out of you. You are burgeoning with trauma, with hurt, with self-blame, and self-laid shame. That is not serving your greatest and highest good. That is not helping you. That is not aiding you. And you cannot bring about what it is you want in this world when your vessel is currently at a capacity of crap. You are literally a trash plant on The Sims. You have been left around enough and you started growing. Nothing you grow will be good when you are muck. When you are garbage. I am not speaking this to be hurtful. I am not speaking this to be rude. I am speaking this from my soul and from my higher self into saying you have to recognize what that hurt is to release it. Otherwise, it will continue to bounce off the walls of your mind, body, and soul into this perpetual cacophony of sadness, rage, and self-laid hate. So in this instance, you are being asked to release. Well, that's going to be interesting to watch back and see a real time of starting to connect and channel. But when that paper is written out, when all that is done, fold it up. Fold that paper and fold it away from you because you are pushing it away. If you're looking at it in a clockwise motion, move in a counterclockwise. If you're really good at origami and you want to do like a circular thing, whatever you're doing, put it away from you. One thing that I was talking about with my mom and I want to do is get a glass vessel and clean it and put salt water inside of it and then put that paper inside of that. Confirmation burp. That's what I need to do. Confirmation. What the fuck is happening right now? We just had sirens running up the road when Mama started talking bad about herself, and I was like, spirits real time, just like, wrong. I like barely composed myself to do this, but like off camera I am Okay, I love you guys. Good luck, survive this full moon, and I pray for your greatest happiness in this next year. I pray for my greatest happiness in this next year. I love you all.